but many, many years to come, and will motivate them to achieve great things in life. Dear all, BTAG wishes you all a prosperous new year. Let us ring out the old, ring in the new, and work with much more enthusiasm for the second term.
So I wish you all a great year ahead. So let's get it started. Good evening to all. I welcome all the dignified participants to the 108th web training series of CBSE Bharat Sahodaya. Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's moderator, Ms. Shalini Shinoy. She has been teaching English since 2002 in Crescent Public School, Chalakuri, Kerala. Presently, she is the vice principal in the same institution. She is also CBSE resource person for library science for Center of Excellence, Trivandrum. And today, Shalini ma'am is gratefully with us to moderate the grand session of Bharat Sahodaya 2022. So Shalini ma'am, wholeheartedly, I invite you to this grand occasion. Please ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words. And let me first thank Bharat Sahodaya for giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much, Abdul Salam, sir. So hello and welcome to all. Thank you for taking time to join us. Today, we embark on the 6th part of All About English. The topic for today is ALS in English, an introduction to ALS project term 2 English Core. As we usher in the new year with hope and aspirations, Bharat Sahodaya, in its 108th session, aims to provide the English community a better understanding to deal with the ALS project of term 2 in our continued quest to gather, disseminate, and create information for the betterment of all stakeholders of the school community. Given the importance of listening and speaking well to maximize success in and out of school, you might wonder if there are any guidelines for teaching it. Our resource person today will train you, and at the end of the session, we are sure that you will be a lot more confident in helping your students know where to focus, organize ideas, deepen understanding, develop plans to complete the project on time, reflect on the topic, correlate the matter to text or experiences, enhance their ability to express, expand their level of vocabulary, and of course, encourage your students to ask as many questions as possible. Needless to say, we have a lot to cover today, so we should really begin. So let's listen to some rules before we get into the formal program. Kindly keep your microphones on mute. To make sure we are helping you as well as we can on the topic, we have a chat box to source your questions. Feel free to drop questions or share your thoughts and experiences. There's a question answer session at the end, and we have incorporated some of your questions posted at the time of registration. Kindly note that attendance and feedback form will be shared only after vote of thanks, so please stay connected till the end. Now, what started as baby steps in the form of regular webinars, Transformers, WhatsApp groups for various subjects has now grown leaps and bounds. WhatsApp groups are now transformed itself to BTAG, Bharat Transformers Academic Group, Transformers Quarterly Magazine Telegram group to help educators who are looking for opportunities, annual conclaves of members, recognition of teachers for their outstanding contribution. All these projects are in the pipeline. It's rightly said that the person who knows his way goes the way and shows the way is a leader. And we have with us a leader who believes in empowering and guiding educators across India and abroad. I extend a cordial welcome to Dr. Abdul Salam Sir, General Secretary, CBSE Bharat Sahodaya Complex, and the visionary behind all these exceptional achievements to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, and good evening and hearty welcome to the 108th session and the first session of 2022. We take it a great honor to have Ms. Ruji Senkar to begin the new year with us. Being a veteran academician, I should say, and a CBSE master trainer, ELT expert, we consider it very auspicious today, and let's seek Madam's blessings to start the journey on this very first day of 2022. Madam, please bless us with your blessing. We have to go miles and miles. Thank you so much for your presence, and you are going to enlighten the English teaching community with the new project for English core, which requires actually a lot of time. We cannot deal with when I discuss with Ruchi ma'am said it requires time because we have to learn deeply. Deep learning is required before we present it to the students. So Madam has agreed to give us an introduction and overall idea about how we can deal with ALS for the English core grade 12 today. So we are here with Ruchi Senkar ma'am. We planned 1 month back, I think now it is materializing today. Thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am. And dear participants and everyone, Happy New Year to you. Let's put our hands and heads together for the benefit of the student community. We will definitely travel along, travel together. And we have, as Madam Shalini has put it, we have many, programs in pipeline, and we have an association, a consortium now of educators. We call it Bharat Transformers Academic Group, BTAG, which is at your service. We will be working together. We can put our heads together and we can do a lot of things together. So I take this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate all the educators for your selfless service rendered to the student community, and with a renewed enthusiasm we have approached the second term. And when resource persons like Ruchi Senkar and Ms. Ruchi Senkar and all are there, we don't have to worry about. So thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am, Shalini ma'am, each and everyone. Let's listen to Ruchi Senkar ma'am and get enlightened. Thank you so much. Over to Shalini ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I deem it a privilege to invite a leader who works quietly behind the scene, but very effectively. Mr. Biju S. Pillai, Treasurer, Bharat Sahodaya, to enlighten us with his thoughts. Over to you, sir.
Shalini ma'am, please go ahead. Yes, enjoy it.
Okay, sure, sir. So we are going to the resource person. Today, we have an exceptional resource person who's the best person you can learn from regarding ASL project for English Core Term 2. She is a CBSE master trainer, material developer, Celta-Passe communicational skill professional, and YouTuber. Being an ELT book author, she's worked under various publishing firms and has conducted training for Oxford University Press, Orient Black Swan, and so many others. She's highly skilled and interested in item writing, innovative pedagogical process, inquiry-based learning, competency-based learning, critical thinking activities, project-based learning, skill integration, lesson planning, and the list goes on. With more than 25 years of teaching experience in Delhi schools, she has been conducting training sessions for CBSE COE across the country. She believes in updating herself and strongly supports professional development opportunities for the educators. Let's welcome the resource person for the 108th edition of web training session, Ms. Ruchi Senkar. Welcome, ma'am, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you, for such gracious words, such a warm welcome. A very happy new year to all of you. It's always a pleasure to come and speak at this platform. Kudos to Dr. Salam for all his efforts. I think it is his charm and his convincing power that gets me here. So, yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here today. It's not an easy topic. Let me just say that as a disclaimer at the very beginning. It's not going to be fun and games. It's something that needs to be understood. We cannot just sort of, skim the surface. Despite my best efforts, that is perhaps what we would be doing, given the 1 hour, 15 minutes that we have. However, towards the end, I'll probably direct you towards a resource where you might get some assistance later. Let me begin with sharing my screen and we'll take it forward. Shalini, is this visible? Would you let me know, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's great. Wonderful. So as the introductory slide tells you, this is ALS in term 2. Please feel free to call it ASL if you want to. It's just the same thing. It's assessment of listening and speaking because we say LSRW, right? So you can even call it speaking and listening. It's okay. It's just basically your vocabulary, the lexics. English core class 11 and 12. I remember skimming through the registration form questions, and one of them had asked, do we need to do it for 11th as well? Well, it says here, yes, you need to do it for 11 and 12 because that is what your guidelines say. This is an introductory session. And once again, Happy New Year. It's a fab beginning, not just for you, but for me as well, to have gotten an opportunity to engage with you. So today's lineup, and I've written the minutes here. I hope I can match the time. We are going to begin with the word project and examination. We are going to decode the CBSE guidelines as quickly as possible. We are going to talk about the topics. We are going to talk about the methodology. We are going to talk about planning, the rubrics, the portfolio, as a lot of questions are about this, reflections as the CBSE guidelines mandate. And then we are going to talk about the Viva. I'm afraid I cannot grant more than 10 to 15 minutes per topic. But like I said, towards the end, I'll point you in the direction of something special. Okay. Let's begin with the first item in the lineup. So we are going to talk about project. So now when we think about project, what do we think of? We think about a instruction or an activity that at the end of a particular learning experience, after the real learning is over, we want our kids to sort of participate in and do or conduct. We give them directions and we expect them to follow them to the T. It is focused on the end product. It can be completed alone. I mean, they sit at home and they are handed it. It is often unrelated to the LOs that are prescribed or the skills that we are supposed to inculcate. And it usually, the efficacy of it all or the connection usually remains within the school world. Now have a look at something else that I will put across. What if the instruction is integrated into the product. That is that you are completing your syllabus alongside, or the LOs are getting completed alongside the project. Okay, it is driven by student inquiry. It is not teacher centric, it is student centric. It is focused on the product as well as the process. So you as a teacher guide are not just waiting to see, oh, this is the end product, okay, I'm giving you the marks. It is not something that is going to encourage the child to go to a particular person or a vendor and say, make this for me and give it, I need to submit it. So that is not going to happen, because this is of equal importance. It involves peer collaboration versus doing it alone. Okay, and it requires teacher guidance support, not teachers support, teacher guides support. Please remember that as a facilitator, minimum intervention, maximum guidance. Okay, it is aligned to the prescribed LOs. When you plan, you have to take care that it is aligned to the LOs. Okay, and it has a real world context and application. It is not just some random philosophical topic that the child is just writing on. Okay, it's not literature here. Please remember, it is a project. Okay, and therein lies the difference. This becomes project-based learning, and it's very important that we understand the difference. So what has been prescribed in our syllabus is PBL. It is not project, because we are attempting to get the child to learn a lot of things. So therefore, if as an academic, I am going to tell my students, okay, read a book and write an essay, that doesn't cut it. That is not an ALS project. And please remember, ALS, if it doesn't have an element of speaking and listening, then it's not an ALS project at the end of the day. Okay, so that is something we need to remember. All right, let's proceed. I think I've done justice to my 5 minutes. Let's decode the CBSE guidelines. Okay, I'm just going to take it step by step so that we layer the understanding and the clarity by the time I get into the meaty parts. Okay, the first thing, so wherever you see this on top, that has been taken from the guideline circular. Okay, right? The project will be one small project, very clear. Okay, and the work will be covered in term 2. The project work to be covered in term 2. Okay, however, 10 marks will be allotted for the ALS project. Now, if it's 10 marks, 5 marks will be allotted for the project report, etc. Etc. is very important. I'll explain why. And 5 marks for the Viva. So, as teacher guides, you forget about the Viva right now. As teacher guides, what is the marks weightage that you have with you? You have 5. So you have 50% of whatever marks you decide. Okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to 5. All right. So the total 10 marks, complete project 5 marks, and what comes in the project, I will explain today. And Viva is 5 marks. So we are not worried about Viva, because that may not be our domain. If you're going to get external examiners for other subjects, you'll get it for English, may not. But it does say internal/external. So we need to be ready, right? Okay. So what does the circular say about the schedule? So it says schools are expected to adhere to the timeline specified by the board. Okay. For planning, preparation, Viva. Look at the stages. Planning, preparation, Viva. It doesn't just say project. Okay, so what did they mean by this? According to the guidelines, the planning should have been done in October. The preparation, based on the choice of topic and going through the project, etc., collaborating and all, November, December. Presentation is in January. Presentation does not mean submission. I'll showcase the difference. Okay, January, Viva, Feb, March. That is what they've written. But now you might as well say that the exams only got over just 2 days back or 5 days back or a week ago. So, but the guidelines very clearly says that the orientation and the preparation could have started earlier. Now, even if it hasn't, there is no harm done, but we need to ensure that we follow protocol when we are doing it, if you really want to, make it count. Okay, right? So the final assessment of the skills is to be done on the basis of parameters suggested by the board. So I've told you about the schedule. Now the final assessment on the basis of parameters that are suggested by the board. You can't just pluck something out of your own little, imaginary tree and say, this is your assessment criterion. No. However, you can modify these. Okay. Now, the reason why the modification is going to be required, I'll come to that later. So what are the basic criterion that have been given? Fluency, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammatical accuracy, as in writing as well as speaking. So it is not just for writing that you say, oh, it is an essay project. No, it is not. Certainly not. Okay, right? The essay or the report is the total sum of what has been done by the group of children or the team or the child. Okay, and why do they say that there has to be modification or adoption? Because along with this, whatever they perform or present, those descriptors will also come in. So it will vary. If a child has chosen to do a role play, then you will add in drama descriptors, right? If a child has chosen to do a presentation, then you will add in oral presentation rubrics, right? So there's going to, if a child does a vlog, you're going to be putting in a different set of descriptors for that, right? So these remain constant because these are prescribed by the board. But the variation happens here. Don't stress right now. This will get clarified as we move forward. Okay. So there are 5 phases. And this is something you need to have on your tips because this is what you'll be telling the kids. There are 5 phases. First is the topic selection. Then you have the plan. Okay. Planning, very important, as the guidelines say. Then you have the research. It's a project. It's project-based learning. There is nothing without research, which is why there is a segment that says, please, could you create a bibliography as well? Whether it is links, whether it is books, whether it's papers, whatever it is. And then you have creation. And then you have presentation. That is a presentation I was talking about. The speaking part. There has to be a speaking part somewhere, right? It's an ALS project, okay? And collaboration, because there is a listening part, okay? Now, this is only for the 5 marks. The Viva 5 marks we are not talking about right now, okay? Right? So, now, there were a lot of questions about topics, okay? So, let me attempt in those 10 minutes that I have, let me attempt to make you understand. And I've noticed that a lot of experienced teachers are also sort of not really very clear. No fault of theirs. It's just that it's something new and we're all coming to grips with it. Okay. So now remember the topic. Look at this. Let me just take you back. Look at this. What is this? If the topic doesn't allow research, then what use is the topic, no matter how grand it might be? Okay, so we need to be very careful when we allot topics or when we help children choose their topics. So let's begin with this. Like I said, what do the guidelines say? Topic can be interdisciplinary. We are not bothered about that. English sort of, is very democratic. It's very inclusive. It takes in all kinds of subjects. The idea, it says can. Please focus on the modal. Don't fret. Okay, can. The ideas, issues highlighted in chapters, poems, dramas given in the prescribed books can. It doesn't say must. They can be taken. But that doesn't mean that your project is an extrapolatory question. That is not what the project is going to be. Okay, right? See, it says developed in the form of a project. So you could get a hint of a theme or something. Student can also take up any relevant and age appropriate theme. Very important. Please do not give them heavy literary topics. Please look at the example given by the CBSE, something very, very basic. You are looking at the process. You're not just looking at what answers they can give, okay, or how much they can copy from Google. That is not your objective. At the end of the day, most of the schools are going to end up giving 4 or 5 anyway. My concern is that we shouldn't cut a sorry figure when we are asked for evidence. Okay, yeah. So topic should provide, this is all from the guidelines. Topic should provide students with opportunities for listening and speaking. I'm not saying it. So if they're just going to sit there and write a paper, that is not your project. Okay, right? So now, what do you mean by the topic? What kinds of topics? Okay, look at this. So what have I understood? To paraphrase, it should be age appropriate. It should allow a research or a study element. It should allow listening, speaking opportunities, and it should have a clear driving question. A clear driving question. Some of you may already know what a driving question is because there are quite a few here who've already attended specific trainings with me on it. Just in case the others who probably are not very clear or are not sure about whether they are clear or not, a driving question is an open-ended question. It's usually a non-Googleable question because it is personalized. It's an open-ended question and it helps exploration. That's all you need to remember. Okay, it's an open-ended question and it helps exploration. Now, there is a way to construct a driving question. It usually begins with, how can I and my partner, or how can I and my group members prove to whoever you want to prove it to, whoever you want to convince, whatever you want to search. So over here, prove to our schoolmates that mental wellness is as important as physical fitness. Now, why is the driving question important? What role does it play in the choice of the topic? I'll just tell you. First, let's look at some examples. Okay, right? So these are the features that I said are required in a topic. So on keeping this here as ready reference for you, look at this. We have these topics. Okay, so the theosophical insight into world religions. Why is materialism a rat trap? Brand mania and teenagers, the 21st century and joint families, internships, a need for the teen, women entrepreneurs of the world, India needs a strong opposition party, impact of OTT platforms on the teen, overuse of digital devices, the principles of democracy. Now, on the face of it, they all seem very interesting, but they aren't. They are not. Age appropriate, you can straight away knock off some. Research study element, almost all allow it, but the level of research required for something like a topic 1 or maybe a topic 10, okay, that's way too much, okay. Allow listening, speaking opportunities. It would depend what the child chooses to do as a presentation. Have a clear driving question. We'll find out. Personally, I would say, I wish we could interact, but since we are on a timer here, I won't be looking at the chat box. Shalini, if you feel there is something of interest, please let me know. Brand mania and teenagers, excellent. 21st century and joint families, excellent. Why excellent? Because they relate to it. It's age appropriate. Okay, they know it. They see it around them. Okay, internships, a need for a teen. It's all about the teen, their age group. Okay, women entrepreneurs of the world. It seems more like this particular topic seems more like something that they would, end up. The first thing they will write is Indra Nui. Then they'll pick up 100 other things. Smita, you've raised your hand. Could you just sort of type and let Shalini know what you're saying? India needs a strong opposition party. We stray away from politics. Completely. Religion and politics is a strict no-no with the CBSE. I'm telling you that very clearly. Okay. Impact of OTT platforms. Yes. Yes. Because you're talking about the impact. Overuse of digital devices. Yes. Okay. Principles of democracy. What? What research will the child do? It's all done and dusted. It's there in every textbook that they've studied probably since class 6. Okay. So we need to be very careful. These are just examples. There is lots out there. Okay. Now, for example, supposing we were to look at this. A child comes and says, okay, sir, ma'am, I want to take this topic. So your question should be, okay, what is your driving question? Okay. For example, the child would say, how can I and my group members promote the view that internships are important for a teenager? I'm sorry, I should have highlighted number 5. Internships are need for the teen. Okay. So how can I and my group members promote the view that internships are important for a teenager? Simple. How can I promote the view? Already there is a research element. So to investigate how can the child do it, the child will have to do some research, conduct a survey, take some interviews, read about some people, find out what are the pros and the cons, etc. Now that is a project. Okay, let's look at another one. Overuse of digital devices. Now, what will be the driving question for this? The driving question for this could be, how can I and my partner, supposing it's not a group, supposing it's a team, make our neighbors aware of the issues related to the overuse of digital devices? Again, there is scope for research. There is scope for finding out. And are you noticing? It is either schoolmates, classmates, relatives, neighbors. I mean, look at the times. And for God's sakes, this is the first time our children are doing it. Why does it have to be about the city and the world and everything? Nothing. Please ensure that their ambitions are practical when they are, giving you a particular topic. Have a look at this. Now, this is you. Okay. So what's the topic you both have decided to work on? So the child says pocket money. Very nice. Good. So you would say, oh, that's great. No, you wouldn't say that. You would say just pocket money. What's the driving question? So the partner says, we'll work it out, sir. Can we go ahead with this topic? But you would say, what's the objective? What is the research? Where would you be conducting the research? How would you be conducting the research? And that is what is going to get the children thinking. The reason why I'm insisting on the driving question is because it is going to help the learner list the objectives. If you remember, the objectives, the goals, or the statement of purpose has to be written in the initial pages. Okay, it reveals whether the topic is research worthy or not, and it provides clarity about the research methods. If you're just randomly going to take a topic like this and say, okay, ma'am, I'm doing it on pocket money. Oh, very good. That's a good topic. Do what? Do what? Okay, so we need to be very careful that the research element is there. Now, let's look at the 2 examples that have been listed in the guidelines. Just look. Do you think they are very grand? Do you think there is some kind of literary grandeur to these topics? No, they are relatable, practical, age-appropriate, research-worthy topics that have been given in the guidelines. Look at these. These are the features. All right. So, evolving food tastes in my neighborhood. Look at the times. Poor things. They can barely step out of their houses. Okay. So, at least, they need to be able to do the research under safe circumstances. Okay. So, how can I and my group members discover evolving food tastes in our neighborhood? Or, how can I and my partner find out the fallout of Corona pandemic on the families in the neighborhood? Among my friends, in my extended family, anything. So this is what your topics need to be catering to. Be very careful. Do not accept without a driving question. Make them think. For that, you should be clear about what a driving question is. How can I and dash use a verb, whatever, what is their mission? Because this is where the objective is coming from. What is the statement of purpose is coming from here? What are your goals is coming from here? Research, what will be the research is coming from here. So without the driving question, there is nothing. It is just a topic. Okay, yeah. Let's not go to planning. Okay. Before I move to planning, any question that you, Shalini, would you like to ask one or two questions?
Yes, yes, ma'am. There's one question there. The students started the project planning in November. So they've connected their project related with term 1 portions. Is that fine?
Yeah, why not? Why not? If it can be anything age appropriate, how does it matter whether it's class 9, 10, 11, 12, term 1? It doesn't matter. They can even take up something they studied or want to connect to in class 5. It's research. What they feel, what they think, 100% counts. It's excellent if they can connect it to something that they have experienced. My only concern is be very careful that it doesn't become a question answer thing. There has to be an element of research. Yeah, great question. Yeah, I noticed that even in the registration form.
There's one more, ma'am. They're asking about individual project or a group, which one would be better, and some examples.
Yeah, of examples of project. I've just showcased some topics. Okay. Like I said, I'll point you in the direction of the resource, further resource towards the end. But right now, I think it's important for you to understand how it works, because if the child simply says, I want to do it on the girl child, do what? What is the question? What are you investigating? Where is your research? What are you writing on? What will you do? What will you do with your data? How will you analyze it? What will you create? And then finally, what will you present? You can't just take a random topic and say, I want to do it on this. Okay, so.
And one more, ma'am, they're asking whether they can give same topic to all students.
Yeah, you can. But the point is, see, this is what I mean. What I told you in the beginning, what CBSE is telling you in the beginning. What did I say? Why are you giving the topic? Who are you? You're a teacher guide. You're not some autocrat. This is student driven. This is not teacher driven. The CBSE has used the term teacher guide. You cannot be giving a topic. What topics are you giving? Have you given them an opportunity of choice? How is this project then going to foster critical thinking? You might say, oh God, we are dying here. There is corona outside. We can barely finish our syllabus and this lady is talking whatever she's talking. I'm just telling you what is the intent behind this. The rest is entirely up to you, your institutions and your conscience. Okay, but I cannot stand on this this particular platform and not tell you what you ought to be doing. Okay, now I don't think I answered the previous question whether you can do it individually in pairs. Now it depends. Some teachers say, ma'am, we want a group of 7 to 8 people in our class. So what happens if you have 40 students? How many groups do you have? You have 5. Does that make the task simpler for the teacher? I leave the answer. I'm assuming you're answering yes. Now, if you're going to give them individual, are you going to be sitting and God bless you if you have that kind of time and energy. But the point is, discourage individual work. Discourage. Don't refuse. Discourage. Attempt telling them that it's better because the underlying purpose is collaboration. and you will understand what I mean when I show you planning. Okay, so groups are good, teams are also good, pairs are good, but if they are in groups, it gets simpler for you when you go through their material, when you give them presentation dates, because it is not just some submission. In your head, probably some of us might have decided, oh, I'm 4 or 5, 4 or 5, 4. Which school is going to say, no, don't give marks, internal assessment? I'm sorry, but that's how it is. But the point is, they cannot fudge the data. It has to come honestly. So the simpler the project, the simpler the topic, the easier for them to do it. Okay, even if they want to say among my friends, that they want to do some kind of investigation among my friends, even that is okay. It is okay. Okay, or maybe reading 4 or 5 stories of the same author, and then doing some research about the writer's writing style, reading about the research, reading about writing styles of other authors. Research has to be there. It cannot exist without research. Remember that. Shalini, I'm moving forward if you're okay with it.
Yes, ma'am. I'll copy down the questions and we will clarify it at the end.
Yeah, because the registration form questions I already have on a slide. We'll attempt that also towards it. Yeah. So planning, just the measly 5 minutes. Okay, we spent a day doing this, but it's okay. Now, when we talk about planning, the first thing is your planning. I agree. See, it's from the guidelines. Your planning. You need to plan. Whatever we are doing here is something you ought to be doing with your kids. This is what it is. This is now. What does the portfolio report contain? It contains the plan of the students. Now, to answer your question, students choose a project. Does it say anywhere that teachers allot a topic? I'm not saying it. I'm telling you what's there. Students choose a topic. I told you the second slide itself said, what is the difference between PBL and a project? This is student-centric. It's driven by the students, which is why they said, please start in October. Okay. Then you have, they need to make a logical, deliverable, practical plan. They need to draft it. They need to draft it. So you need to be giving them a template in which they can. What is the role of each person? What are the duties? And if you have read the circular very carefully, it very clearly says that the student planning template is going to be a part of the report. Okay. Goals and objectives are clearly defined. Yes, this is a part of initial pages. Work is delegated to team members here. Over here, the list of duties, deliverable dates, the methods being followed. You know, it's not something that you will tell the kid to do over the weekend. It will not happen. If it does, and there's an external, the child is going to get caught. Okay. Yeah. Detailed project schedules are shared with the teacher. Is the teacher sharing it with the student, or the students are sharing with the teacher? The students are sharing. So obviously they need that worksheet. They need that. That Excel sheet or a kind of a Google Doc or something that you will give them as a template, and they will fill it after discussing with each other, even if it is across the screen. Okay. Yeah. Now I'll explain all of this. Please don't worry. So now, what is it that they need to remember when they are planning? Okay. Let me just take you back so that you can have a look carefully. Look at what has been put in bold. All right. Now, how will we begin? What all are we required to do? What roles does each member play towards project completion? This is their checklist. Okay. What are the products we want? As in, finally, what is the product we want? Do we want an interview? Do we want a role play? Do we want a panel discussion? Do we want a vlog? What are we moving towards? In the sense that, how are we going to present verbally the result of all our research. In writing, we are giving, but how are we presenting it verbally? That is what the thing is, product. How do we design them? What are our deadlines? How could we present? All this they have to do in the template. They have to fill it. They have to write, this is going to take a week. Oh, it's a survey, it's going to take a week. Oh, it's a telephonic interview, it's going to take 3 days. Because if it's a telephonic interview, if you want to do it on dental health of teens and you have spoken to a dentist or you've spoken to 3 dentists, there has to be a questionnaire, right? So each question is asked and the results are sort of noted. Then you compare the 5 dentists. What did all of them say? So question 1, this is what dentist 1 said, this is what dentist 2 said, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. What is your final analysis? Then the second question, what did all 5 of them say? Then the third question, what did all 5 of them say? What is it? Do you want to represent it as a bar graph? Do you want to do a pie chart? What is it you want to do? Then you have to write some analysis based on your research. You have to write the transcript of all the answers. That's what they mean by the transcript. I'm just giving you an example. It's not a cakewalk. That is why if you have 6 people, then you would have 2 people or 1 people interviewing 6 different dentists. And everybody coming back and saying, okay, this is it. Who's going to be putting the transcript? Who's going to be analyzing? All those duties need to be put down. Okay. And finally, what are they going to talk? Are they going to have like a presentation about, what they have discovered? Do they want to convert it to some kind of a play or a nukkad natak or a role play? Or what do they want to do based on dental hygiene and dental health and teens? Based on what they have researched, out of that conclusion, what is it that they want to present? All of this just for 5 marks? Yes. All of this just for 5 marks. Okay. Provide a planning template to the students. Okay. The methodology, very important. So we are going to do 10 minutes for this. That is the methodology of researching, of creating and presenting. I'm going to do all 3 with you. So what does research mean? It means research on the topic. It could either be an interview, it could be a survey, it could be online investigations. Online investigation as in you're surfing the net, you're reading, whatever you're reading, you're noting down the points. Supposing it says you've watched reaction videos. Okay, there are so many people who are doing reaction videos, so many foreigners who are reacting to our, for example, Bahubali. So you sort of watch 7, 8 reaction videos and you note down the summary of what each reaction video had. Okay, and then you are comparing. Now that is research. You're comparing. Why is it different? Why was an American's reaction different from that of a Korean? Were there some similarities? Did they all react with a wow, or did someone look bored? What were the points that were commented on? Was it the effects? Was it the hero? Or did they talk about the music? Did they talk about the director? What is it? So all that comparison has to be put down, and then your final analysis has to come. And then it could also be from reading. You're reading books, you're reading stories, whatever it is. Findings, and then analyzing the findings. There is a reason why there is analytical paragraph writing in class 10, because in 11 and 12, it is assumed that the children would be able to do and see where it has come. This is critical thinking, isn't it? You're evaluating and analyzing. Like I'm saying, it's not a weekend thing. And all this has to show in the portfolio. This has to show, which is why it is not a weekend thing. Okay, yeah. So research is on the topic. Now let's move to create. What is create? Create is you have the research and you have the presentation. Both things have to be created. The research comes in the form of your report or essay or portfolio, whatever. The presentation is the listening, speaking element. So based on what your conclusions, My God, the major reason why teenagers have this dental issues, the bad breath is the major issue, because they eat a lot of junk and they don't get a chance to brush their teeth or do mouthwash or floss. They are unaware of these things. That is the major reason for their bad breath. Now, if this is your final conclusion amongst the 2-3 others, then maybe a short role play or a comic skit based on this, or maybe a rap poem or whatever, any kind of presentation. Okay, or maybe a docu presentation that you want to do. Maybe you want to do a podcast, anything that has a spoken element by all the members, where everybody has a chance, a panel discussion. Okay, why do you think it happens, where you have teenagers and you have a host asking, what is the problem? This is what our research has said this. Do you agree? Why do you think this happens? And so on and such. So it's a presentation. Now that presentation could be on Zoom across the screen. The recording could be given to you. If times get better, they could do it in person in front of you. It's entirely up to them. If they want to do their little bits and then somebody can put it together, even that is good. If you want to do an autobiography, if they want to present an autobiography of a germ, they could. I'm just saying, it is entirely up to them, as long as it is a listening, speaking element. Okay, yeah. Now, what is the report? When they create, what is the report? The report is going to have details of the research, the analysis factor, and the presentation detail. The presentation detail, why? Because earlier in the planning template, they have written everybody's duties. So in the presentation detail, they would say that the analysis was done, the play was done, and so on. And this is what it was like. All that is a part of your report only. 800 to 1000 words. All that is a part of your report. Your complete project is mirrored in the report. And what is your complete project? Your research and your presentation. Okay. So therefore, in order to do something like this, they would require some kind of outline, some exemplar, some tips on how to introduce your report or essay, some sentence starters, some commonly used phrases in this kind of academic writing. And I'll tell you, if you're interested, you could reach out, okay, for the resource. All right. Seema, would you type it, please? I can't really, I'm not very sure whether, are we allowed to get them to unmute? Shalini, would you address that, please? Somebody.
We have that session at the end, ma'am.
Yeah, a session at the end. Seema, could you hold the thought, please? Yeah, thank you. All right. Now we come to present. I've been saying presentation. So the presentation is the listening, speaking element. Very simple. Anything which allows the child to speak, or, if it's a group of 6, if they are, speaking. It should be topic related, and it should stem from the analysis of research. Otherwise, what's the point of such a huge research that they have done? Some findings they have got. No, so they should be creative enough to use those findings to present. It could be a presentation. It could be a speech, an oral presentation. It could be a discussion. It could be opinions on what the findings are. It depends what the children want to do. Okay. Right? It could be that. All right. You could do it via plays. You could do it with presenting props, photos, and like a photo presentation. You could do it via speeches, panel discussions, vlogs, news reporting, journalists showcase, your findings you are reporting as a news person, news anchor. But then there has to be a speaking opportunity of equal proportion for everybody in the group. It cannot be one person speaking for the whole group. You cannot mark it like that. Okay. Documentary, voiceovers, podcasts, beautiful stuff, debates, etc. So You could have 2 people on one side, 2 people on the other side, and of 2 members on one side, and you could do a small turncoat kind of a thing, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. They've said their point, they've said their point. Now they have rebutted, they've rebutted. So yeah, great. They can record themselves. It's perfectly fine. They could do it across Zoom, or they could do it across your Gmeets or whatever works for them. Okay, so that was your presentation. Remember that CBSE says that when they are doing all of this create and research and present, whatever they are doing, there have to be constant suggestions and improvements that have to be shared by the teacher. Now, my point is, if you need to give them feedback, what is the tool that you would be using? You would be using rubrics. So don't think that only towards the end, there is one rubric that has been published in the guidelines and we will use that. You would not be able to give suggestions and improvement. And then only towards the end, it will happen. If you're hard pressed for time, you can use that. Otherwise, please remember that you can use it at any stage to check. Suppose you feel that, oh, the group people are not really coming together, they are not serious. You could say, all right, group number 3, I'm going to be sort of assessing you on your collaboration skills. And in the collaboration rubric, you can write time management, effective contribution, and you can write teamwork. Simple, 3 things. And you can say that I'm going to mark you on this, tell them before only what they are going to be marked on, and ensure that you do it. You can mark them right up to 20, 30, 40, 50 marks. It doesn't matter. The more marks you have in hand, the better they feel that they are getting. Otherwise, how will you do your rubric? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So even if there are 3 parameters, so 5 3s are 15 marks are given there only. You look at the number of descriptors given in the CBSE guidelines. There are 7, 8 descriptors. And they say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 8s are 40. If a child gets all 5s, the child will get 40, no? And then you can bring it down to 5. That's a different thing. So please ensure that you play with a lot many marks, but you bring it down to 5, just for the ease of marking. And always before, but you know all this already. You know this from the CCE times as well. Okay, rubrics have to be shared before. All right. And the CBSE says the final draft of the project is prepared and submitted for evaluation. Students are assessed on their group, pair, individual presentations on allotted days. I'm not saying it, it's here in black and white. They are saying it. So the report is done. Report is to be submitted. And presentations are to be performed on allotted days. How will they justify their presentation element in the report if they haven't presented anything? Okay, so some speaking element has to come from them to be able to include in the report as, you know, one little thing that this was presented by so-and-so, taking into consideration the conclusions that we drew from our research on this and this topic. Okay, yeah. So now I mentioned rubrics. What did I mean by that? All right. Now, what does CBSE say about rubrics? CBSE says this. It's given. Everything is given there. It's just that it's so dense. And, you know, there is probably some lack of chronology, which is perhaps what causes that little bit of confusion. They need to familiarize themselves with the method of assessing students with the rubric. Okay, choose 4 or 5 criteria on which you will grade the students. Define the ability that a student should exhibit at each of the levels. Obviously, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're all experts. You've done your ASL for so many years. You know what a performance descriptor looks like. You've done it for speaking skills. Okay, the more detailed the criteria, I'm not saying it, it's there in the guidelines. The more detailed the criteria, the easier it is to evaluate each student. Naturally, that's what I just told you. Okay, if you're just going to evaluate them all together at the end, what are you doing? You are just checking the product. And this, they should be on their toes. You should be telling them, okay, even if I'm giving 2 performance descriptors of punctuality and teamwork, I will be giving you marks on that. So if you're not doing your bit as listed in the student planning sheet, you will not get the marks. You could have a dummy sheet in which you're giving them a 2 or a 1 or a 3, or you could have your own to take care of your school pressures. But for them, you make them understand that this is not just a game, because you are preparing them for college and research work later. If you are going to cut corners here, they are not going to pick up things. Okay, so each student and define the level. For example, you could use portfolio for 20 marks, 30 marks, 40 marks. Now, what are the things you will include in the portfolio? That also CBSE has said, what kind of rubrics do you want? They've given the criteria. I'll show you. Okay, and then you have presentation. Separately mark them and then put them together and bring it down to 5. All right. So you have, for example, you want to do a role play. Somebody's done a role play. So it would look something like this. Relates to the audience, provides a fluent rendition, role play scenario with feeling and expression, presents characters appropriately, gives the scenario. You choose. You choose. You can even keep 3. But my point is, if somebody gets 5 here, 5 here, 5, 5, 5. So these are 25 marks already. So your total marks are 25. Okay. Because you have to cater to what if somebody gets all 5s. So otherwise a child will get 5, 3 here, again a 5, a 4, and perhaps a 2 here. But the total is 25. Okay. And then you can bring it down to 5. You could do the similar thing even for presentation and even for portfolio, and you can bring it down to 5 again. Okay. So now, what is it that you have in the portfolio? All right. It includes the following. It includes initial pages. Now I'm going to go a little slow here. It includes the initial pages, which means it will include a cover page. It will include your goals and objectives, your acknowledgements, your certificate of completion. Okay. And then it would include, number 2, it would include the report or the essay itself. All right. What else would it include? It would include material evidence of learning progress. I've taken it from here. I am not giving you something out of my own whimsical feeling. Okay. Learning progress and academic accomplishment. Learning progress. Evidence of each stage of their planning that they have said, okay, would include what? Scripts for the interview, the role play, whatever. Anything they do, the script has to be there. If they are talking to someone, supposing their project involves talking to the hired help and English is not good, so they would record, they would do it in the local language, but they will transcribe in English to showcase. Okay. Questionnaires for interviews, written assignments, any notes that they have made while looking at videos or listening to podcasts, all their research material, any evidence, any discussion based notes that they have done while collaborating with each other, all those things, surveys, reports, photographs, whatever. Inclusions, what else do they have to include? Action plan. Like I told you, the student planning sheet. The CBSE is saying it, I'm not saying it. Okay. Rubrics for feedback or assessment, because you have to prove based on what the marks have been given. Okay, student group reflections. Please remember this. This is the next thing I'm taking with you. Reflections, very important. Photographs, if at all, 1 or 2 always are good. List of bibliography or resources, any links, anything they have sort of, surfed, any books they have read, any newspapers, any advertisements that have taken them to the resources. How did they go? How did they select the person for the interview? What prompted them to do that? All that has to be a part of their essay or report, which is why I said it cannot be fudged. It can be simplified, but it cannot be a lie. That's all I need to do. You can simplify it to the minuscule level. You can talk about the variation in the choices of fruit if you want, or the kind of beverages or the brands of biscuits that the friends like, anything. Okay, but there has to be a reason why the child is doing it, and whatever. Okay. If you're going to take grand topics, then it's going to be difficult for the child to bring it together. We have a mixed group of students in our classes. A lot of them are first generation learners, are poor babies. We need to really simplify things for them. This is for you, all this. Don't hit them with it all of a sudden. Simplify it. You know your children best. What is this information overload is going to stress them out. So what is the simplest way, and at what stage do you want to tell them what? You could do that in the loving way that you deal with them. Okay. So now, while assessing the project portfolios, what are the parameters? Okay. The first one is the quality of content of the project. Meaning what? Meaning what? Is it original? Is it plagiarized? Is it robust? Does it hit with the topic? Is it loosely done? Is it relevant? This is what content of the project means. Accuracy of information. Is it based on research? Is it taken from reliable sources? Or is it just picked from somewhere random? Okay. Adherence to a specified timeline. What does it mean? It means, has the group followed the action plan? Sita, Geeta, Rita, and Joseph, they followed. Karan could not follow. There is no group thing. Everybody is getting their own marks, which is why the action plan template is very important. Okay, which is why they say we want it as evidence in the portfolio. Then you have content in respect of this, all the conventions in the report, in the written report. So this is accuracy. Obviously, at class 11 and 12, they are not supposed to be making mistakes. Yeah. Clarity of thoughts and ideas. Okay. Can they organize well? Is the introduction coming after the second paragraph, or are they putting the introductory paragraph? Are the topic sentences in place? Are the ideas connected? Are the headings in order? Is their paragraphing proper? 1,000 words. You can't just have like randomly written things there. Yeah, which is why in the beginning I told you when I was talking about the report that you need scaffolding for the children. Yeah. Then you have creativity. What does that mean? That, what are the other evidences you've used? What kind of presentation you're doing? Are you putting in the script or the questionnaire or whatever it is? Then you have contribution by group members. All this is what CBSE has written for checking their report or their essay or their portfolio, the portfolio. Okay. Collaboration, team spirit, responsibility, accountability, time management, all that comes over here. Okay. Knowledge and experience gain, this is what reflections are, which is why the children need to write their reflections. Okay. So all of this. What do I mean by reflections? Very simple. There could be 7-8 lines that the child writes about the kind of effort they've put in, what they experienced, what their strengths, their weaknesses, some anxious moments during the project, or some errors which they committed, and they sort of, revise them, any constructive criticism of self, or an event or a process, that they felt is important and worth writing. Okay, they can use personal language as I and we when they are writing their reflection. So even if it is a group of 6 people, and there's a very popular question that says, ma'am, if there are 6 people working in a group, do they need to have 6 different project reports? I leave that to you, but everything within me screams that why would they have a different report? Why would they have a different portfolio? It's a group project. If you're going to write the names of all the group members on the first page, does it make sense to have different reports? Now, there are people who ask, should it be handwritten? Should it be typed? We are screaming technology from the rooftops, and you want them to write it by hand. I don't know. So on both these things, what I want to tell you is this is entirely up to you, the school, the convenience with which the children would be coming to the examiner. Some schools want children to come roll number wise, so everybody should carry their own. Some are happy saying that the project has been done in groups, so this particular group will come first. All 6 of them will come. The examiner will take the viva one at a time. The other 5 will be waiting. And the examiner is going to be looking at that one report that is going to be there. Is the examiner going to be looking at the presentation or the recording or listen to the podcast? No. I will come to that in a bit. Okay. We have 6 minutes left before we begin our Q&A. So there's enough time. All right. So these are reflections. All right. Now the viva. Okay. So what does the CBSE say? Final viva is conducted by the, so your five marks are done. Now the other 5 marks. Final viva is conducted by the external/internal examiner. It depends which way the COVID is going to sort of take a turn, how. So this is from the CBSE guidelines. During the viva, examiner would ask the student some questions. Okay. Questions need to be based on the project chosen by the student. Very clear? Only questions. The examiner is not going to be saying, show me what you did. Let me listen to your interview. Nothing. It's very clear. Okay. It is imperative for the examiner to read the project report before they can be ready to ask the questions, which is why it is very important that the portfolio includes everything. It includes the transcripts, it includes the student planning template, it includes the reflections, it includes all material, the evidence, everything. Okay? Because this is what the examiner is going to skim through. For example, if you go as an examiner to some other school, you ought not to be cutting a sorry figure. You will be skimming through. Okay? So, what are the kind of questions? I'll just talk to you about that. Okay. It's still from the guidelines. The examiner would observe how students answer the questions that are posed to them. Now, what is the basis of those 5 marks? Of course, relevance. Now, for the child to be answering with relevance, which skill is required? Listening skill is required. If they do not listen carefully, and I don't mean the volume, loud or clarity, etc. Relevance, have they understood? I'm not saying hear. I'm saying listen. Okay, so now what does the CBSE say? It says, are they able to understand and answer questions independently? Or can they answer only when the questions are translated into simpler words? Okay, so grade 11, I'm not talking about 11, grade 12 level English. Are they able to understand, or does it have to be simplified? If it's going to be simplified, then they'll be marked down because they're clearly not able to get what is being asked. Okay, okay. Are they able to give appropriate responses in a conversation with the examiner? Are they competent enough to use multiple tenses? Okay, is their word order correct in a given sentence? Do they use a full sentence, or are they answering monosyllabically? Are their tenses out of whack? I'm not saying it, it's given. This is exactly what is going to be checked in Viva. Don't just keep thinking that the examiner is going to be focusing on the content. Yes, the examiner will be focusing on the content, but the maximum focus is going to be on how it is being spoken. It is a speaking, listening project. Okay, yes. How comfortable are they as they speak and express themselves? Are they inappropriate pauses and gaps in the way a student speaks? Obviously, the marks will go down. Obviously, it would be highly unfair to mark a student who is not fluent and is not able to answer what is being asked at the same level as someone who is. Okay, which is why if they have fudged their report, if their name has come in taking an interview with a dentist, and the examiner says, what was the challenge that you faced when you were preparing for the interview, for the dentist? If the child hasn't done it, nothing in the world is going to prepare the child for that answer. If the child has done it, the child would be able to say something or the other. It doesn't matter. Okay. So what is the examiner going to check on? What does the CBSE say? Fluency, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammatical accuracy, and the relevance, of course. So it's pretty much the same parameters as your speaking skills rubric. Okay. The first topic is task completion or relevance, and then these four. All right. So that's your Viva for you. What kind of questions? It could come from your introduction. It could come from your analysis in the report. It could come from the duty that you've done. It could come from the reflections that you've written. It could come from the presentation that you have done. What was challenging? What was simple? What did you like? What didn't you like? And things like that. Did the team work? Do you think it would have been better if you'd done it solo? Why do you deserve these marks? Why did you choose this topic? So if they haven't really done it, it's going to be problematic. Okay, yeah. Okay, before I move on to the special offer, this is what I meant when I said that I'll point you in the direction. As far as I am concerned, this is just about the journey that we can manage in an introductory session. I know there is so much more. So we have 10, 12 minutes for the question and answers. Before we move to the question and answers, because I have done this training in great detail with a lot of teachers across the country, they've been kind enough to attend a 2-day training session. And I think we did it for 2.5 hours each time, where we went into the breakout rooms and did, but it's not possible over this platform. Okay, so what I'm offering you is that these are available. I've curated this, I've created these 10 topics with driving questions, student planning template, a portfolio with an example. It's got an example. It's got 20 language prompts for the writing the report. It's got 15 reflection prompts. You have examples of initial pages. You have examples of rubrics. You have 15 Viva prompts. And if somebody wishes to connect with me. They could do it for 15 to 30 minutes over a Zoom call. All you have to do if you're interested is WhatsApp me on this number. I'm taking a big risk giving this number out publicly, but no calls are received on this number. Just WhatsApp, please. I think it's only fair to say that there are no free lunches. It's all monetized, but the intention is to sort of help you if you seek that kind of help, right? Now, I think it's very easy to remember. It's 98109 98209. That's it. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So we have the question and answers, and I'm sure Shalini is going to pick up some. But let me very quickly in 5 minutes attempt this. Which type of activity is better, individual, pair, or group? I think I've answered this. If it is a group activity, should each group member submit a separate? I think I've answered this. Is there any word limit for the project? Yes, 8 to 1000. They can go up to 1200 if they want. Should it be handwritten? I've answered this. If role play, should it be performed on the examination day or pre-recorded? Nothing. There is no examination day. Like I told you, you will be giving them the date where they have to submit it. Obviously, they are not there in person now. If they are there in person, you can watch them perform. Otherwise, a recording would do. It's perfectly fine. All right. They can submit it before. It's got nothing to do with the Viva. If examination day is what you mean by the Viva, it's got nothing to do with it. The examiner, the Viva section is just asking questions. The project includes the report and the presentation. Everything has to be done before. You are the teacher guide. You will give those 5 marks. Okay. Can we select projects based on the lessons? Yes. Yes. Please give examples. We'll talk about this. Please provide tips to create audio and video podcasts. Oh, Lord. I just feel that, first of all, I think it's important that you tell the child to research the kind of podcasts that are available. There are 7 to 8 types of podcasts, storytelling being one of them. So which is the genre of podcast that the child wants to attempt? After that, it is just about recording. There are several tools available. I'm sure if you Google, you will come across some beautiful free tools. So it's all there. Please don't worry. The children probably would be able to advise you better, in all honesty. Please suggest creative topics. I've already told you it's not about creative topics. I've told you the features that are required for the topics. Be very careful. Okay, the simpler it is, the better the project. Okay. Will external examiners, if they are coming for other subjects, they'll come for English. Yeah. Maybe even if they don't come for English, you could sort of, ask somebody else from your school to do that. I mean, if you're teaching a particular section, ask some other teacher to do it, like the norms are usually, even for a speaking test. Please give tips to train students for Viva. I already have. Please feel free to connect over the number that I've shared. I'll give you more details. Tips, deadlines, steps. I think I've already done that. Tips to monitor the progress of the project. I've already done that. Can students use Google Forms? They can use anything as long as they do their research and present and they are not lying and copying from here, there, everywhere. Okay. Even if three groups have chosen the same topic, there will be a slight difference in the driving question and their researches are going to be very different. So it doesn't really matter. Let them remember the choice of, so what is the best way to get them to choose topics? You create like a resource of 10, 20 topics and you give the sheet out to them and you tell them, could you please pick your top 3? Okay. And then you say, please decide whether you want to do it in pair or you want to do it in groups. Don't even give the option of one. If somebody comes and says, ma'am, I want to do it solo, that's a different thing. And then once they are in pairs, you say, okay, everybody has chosen their top 3. Now, as a group, could you please decide on a consensus of 1 and come and tell me what that topic is? You could work it like that. So it's like the gray area. It's not student-centric completely. It's not teacher-centric completely. It's somewhere in between. What is the best way to enhance listening skills of students, and how will listening skills be tested in the project? Well, listening to each other while collaborating and listening to the examiner during the Viva is just about the listening in term 2. There are 7 types of listening given in term 1. I hope that has been taken care of. So that was for term 1. Can the entire project be completed online? Yeah, sure. What can't be done online, I don't know. You have birthday parties online. So yes, it can be. Can the entire project be completed online? Yes. I mean, considering that it started in October, even if you're going to start it now, yes, you have time till March. Go for it. Why not? Why not? Yeah. So that is what it was. There were 14 questions in the registration form, more or less. I'm open. Shalini, hit me with it.
Thank you so much, Ruchi ma'am, for such informative and enriching session. Now we move to the questions. You have answered most of them, ma'am, but there's one particular question like, do you think that 5 marks will be given by internal and 5 marks for Viva will be given by the external? Is it that way? They want to know.
Yes, that's what I've been saying throughout.
Yes.
The portfolio, including all the evidences, initial pages, and the report and analysis, plus the presentation is equal to 5 marks.
Oh,
okay, that's our job. And then you wait for God Almighty to send a good examiner to you to take care of the other 5 marks. If situation is still dire, then probably somebody from your own school is going to be doing the Viva.
Ma'am, there's one more question. The reflections can differ. So if they have a single file for a group, will that work?
Beautiful question. Beautiful question. Do you have the name of the person by any chance? No? Beautiful question, whoever it was. Yes. So if it's a single file, what happens is each child, give each child a page. And reflections is the place where they can do it by hand if they want. They can even stick a picture. They can, it is their page. So they can, so if there are 6 people in the group, you have 6 different pages of each person giving their own reflection. And then you put those 6 pages with the name of each person. That's just about it.
Thank you, ma'am. There's one more. Can they do video essay?
Yes.
Video essay.
Wow. If somebody does it, that's what I meant by a vlog or like a docu-series or something like that. If someone does it, please share it with me also. I would love to see something like that. Kids are awesome. Yes, please. Please. Yes, they can.
And one more question.
But the script, but the transcript has to show in the, yes.
And film review, movie reviews, are they allowed?
Yes, why not? Now, but there has to be a research element. Remember the driving question. Why is the child doing movie review? What is the purpose? What is the investigation? Where is the research? Random. Remember what I told you, pocket money? Yeah. They can do anything. But it needs to have a research element, and it needs to be age appropriate, and it needs to have a listening speaking element. Yeah.
These were the questions. Now we request the audience to kindly raise their hands in case they want to ask.
First of all, in the chat box, or I don't know what are those icons or whatever, I don't know what is done. Was it of any help, or did I bore you to death on New Year? You tell me that. Was it of any help? Because I was just blabbering on, and poor you all had to, yes. Okay, helpful. Very good. I just saw 1 or 2. That's good enough. Yes. 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 Ranita, I see your hand raised. Ranita saying something? Ranita, I think Bala,
Bala, Vijaya, Priya,
yes.
Ma'am. Kindly
unmute and ask, please.
Ma'am, should we record all the presentations? Is it compulsory?
I think in the interest of keeping evidence with you, why not? I mean, I think more or less it's going to be online, isn't it? They will be created. So even if it is a link where they have dropped their recording, it's perfectly fine. How will you assess them if you don't see, no? So you are going to be recording as it is, right?
Okay, ma'am. Suppose if they're doing offline.
Maybe a couple of pictures.
Okay,
Photos.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Is it for 11th standard, ma'am? Class 11?
Yes, sweetheart. It's for 11th and 12th. Don't quote me on this, but you could go a little easy with 11, but you have to be very careful with 12.
Okay, ma'am.
Is what I feel. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Next, Rupinder Kaur, ma'am.
Oh, Rupinder Kaur Dhami, is that you?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, that's me, Ruchi.
Hello. Happy New Year. Yes.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody. Basically, two things I want to ask. One is, you said they could have a printed project with 6 reflections, right? So it comes out as one project. The entire team.
Sorry, I think now you'll be able to hear me better. Yeah, my mic was away. So the entire team has one project. They keep just one copy, and they don't have to create 6 copies, right?
Like I said, logically, it doesn't make sense. It's a group
Yes.
project. But if the school or teachers, or, this is a very in-house thing. This decision has to be taken by, does the CBSE say anything? No, CBSE doesn't say anything about it.
Second is you just mentioned evidences. So whatever they do, they give it to us in, you can say, we can ask them for CDs or something, so that we can keep them as evidences if required. You mentioned if required, right? So
CDs,
although it does not say,
no, Ruth, I wouldn't recommend CDs. It's better to tell them to drop it on their Google Drive and keep a link. I think it's better. Why CDs?
Okay.
Why would you collect all of
yeah,
that?
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Or you could, as a school, you could create a digital portfolio, and then I'm sure Dr. Dr. Salam would be able to opine on that, or any tech person here would be able to opine on that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a common idea or something where they can put it.
Exactly. Yeah. Class-wise.
Yes.
Group-wise. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Deepti Madan, ma'am. Please
Hello,
unmute.
Deepti.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm Deepti Madan, and I'd like to thank you for the very informative session that you've had. But I'd like to ask, as far as class 10 is concerned, do we operate the same way, or do we take it a notch down because they're much younger? How do we go about it?
I'm sorry, did you say class 10?
Right.
10 is a different ballgame altogether. This is not the functionality of class 10. Class 10 is doing internal assessment, and there's this project that they do in subject enrichment. That's a very different thing. It's not this.
All right, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Nandini, ma'am.
Hi, Nandini. Nandini, unmute, please, if you are speaking. Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
It's a great session. Thank you for it. And this assessment for speaking and listening skills and make students listen.
Nandini, you're not audible, my dear. There's a lot of static and noise and.
Ma'am, please use the chat box, ma'am. Nandini, ma'am.
No, it was not. So I was unable to.
It's not clear. So we go to the next person.
Presentation timings, ma'am. Timings for presentation.
Could you explain what timings you mean?
How many minutes should they talk, ma'am?
What do you reckon? How many minutes? Maybe 2 to 3 minutes per person?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
That's I think, good enough for you to sort of assess on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
skills. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Anything
Thank you.
less than that, you won't be able to assess.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Next, we have Matilda, ma'am. She's raised her hands.
Matilda, what a lovely name. Reminds me of the book.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, just I would like to ask you about class 10th. Would you please give us more information about class 10th regarding this?
Why don't you connect over the number? I'll tell you about class 10, but just in a very rough, very quickly. Class 10, I think you have 3 marks for subject enrichment, which is again speaking and listening, but it has a project too, in which you may not include art. If some other subject is including art of that particular sister state, then you don't have to worry. Only one subject compulsorily has to do it in one class. So if science is doing it, then you needn't do. For example, we have Sikkim here in Delhi. So we choose not to do it if science or math is doing it, right? You can take some other art and you can do it. But remember, it needs to have a speaking and listening element in the project. Okay, it is not an art project. It's an art integrated project, and it is in subject enrichment, which means it has listening and speaking. If you want further details on this, you could, this is not the platform for it. You'll have to connect otherwise. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we go to Beena as ma'am. Please unmute.
Hello, Beena.
Hi, ma'am. Very good evening. It's nice to see you and hear from you. My query is regarding this role play. So how does it work with role play? As you said, driving question and research. How far the students will be able to do research if they are chosen a role play?
Role play is presentation. What is their topic?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, so presentation can be role play or debate.
Yes, presentation is role play. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
For that, again, then they need to keep the portfolio, and the presentation can be role play, and based on their presentation, they can give their reflection as well, right, ma'am?
They have to give their reflection based on all the projects.
All those things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Ruchi ma'am, can we take a few more questions, ma'am?
Please, I have all evening. Please go ahead.
Sujata Suresh ma'am.
Hello, Sujata. Sujata, unmute if you're answering, if you're asking.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. I have already given topics from term 1 portions. Do I have to change the topics?
Don't change anything. Just make sure that the topics are
relevant
research worthy.
Yes.
They should not just be literary answers.
No. For example, from last lesson, I had given, not last lesson, last spring, I had given a topic like a seminar on child labor, like that.
But what is the research that they will be doing? You've said seminar.
Yeah.
So you've told them the presentation, but what is their research? What are their goals? Why are they doing it?
Yes, that I will think, ma'am.
Driving question.
Yeah.
Just remember, just driving questions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Next, Suresh Kumar, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
I am at a loss. Was it just me or?
Yes, ma'am, we could not.
Yes.
It was not clear, sir. Maybe you can use the chat box.
Is that clear now?
No.
It's not clear. We go to Dr. Deepti Malhotra.
You sound like Suresh, you sound like somebody from a Marvel movie, like a sci-fi.
Maybe you can use the chat box, ma'am. I'll read out the question. We go to the next person, Dr. Deepti Malhotra, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am, and wish you
Hi.
very happy New Year.
Likewise, my dear. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to know, can we give them book reviews?
You can give them anything, my sweetheart. Just ensure that when you say book review, what are you telling them to do? What is the purpose? Why is it a project?
I mean, the driving question may be to find the critical appreciation of any character or to find more about the writer and the style, something like that. Can we
Yes.
give them
So
this?
for them, for that, it doesn't make it a book review. If you are telling them that you are going to, I and my partner would like to find out the similarity in the writing style of Ruskin Bond across the stories.
Okay, then they'll have to read many.
Not many, at least 3-4 stories. You're not saying books, you're saying stories. So even if they read short stories, okay, it's perfectly fine. Okay, but then they will have to research on what writing style means.
Yes, ma'am.
What are its elements?
Yes,
how does Ruskin Bond fit into those elements? And in each story, which are the elements that they noticed?
Right, ma'am. Right. Yeah. Thank you so
And
much.
then finally, they can do a little piece or a little presentation on one of his stories or, whatever. Yeah.
Can we also give them to know more facts about the characters, their favorite characters? Suppose Ruskin Bond's creations. Can we ask them to find characters of Ruskin Bond and similarity between them, something like that?
Yeah, provided, but then you have to recommend stories that sort of fit into the driving question that you're saying. Like, for example, if it's going to be about Rusty, or if it's going to be about Grandfather's Zoo, or if it's going to be about, or nature as a character. Yeah. So yeah. Don't end up giving the whole class the same thing. Yeah.
Differently. Yeah.
Yes.
Different driving question regarding different creations, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Next, we have someone with yellow as a display picture. I'm not able to read the name there.
Good evening. Very good evening. That's me. My name is Hema Madhuri. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello. Yes.
It's been a very informative session. I was dying to be a part of the session since long, and thank you for this. Of course, I learned a lot throughout how to go about the project. My question and what I'm worried about here is, how am I to gaze that the students through the process? How am I to gaze that each one of them is doing justice to the duty that they've chosen?
The team leader.
Okay.
The team leader is the person who corresponds with the teacher at different junctures according to the guidelines. It is the team leader who does that.
Right.
You don't have to worry. It's student driven. The report comes from the team leader, which is where the teacher guide comes and fills in the gaps. So that you could even say, okay, now tomorrow we are going to be doing giving of marks based on collaboration and time management. So team leader, here is the rubric. Could you share it with everybody? Could you all please see where you are at? And then when I sort of talk to you, they can even mark for peers.
Right.
Just
so
be
my single point contact would be the team leader.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you so much. And Happy New Year.
Next, we have Tina Bajaj, ma'am.
We have two Tinas here.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Tina.
Ma'am, my question is, suppose the student has chosen the topic reservation and did the entire research work. They are two in pair. And
pardon, reservation.
Yeah.
As
reservation
in
India.
As in the trains and flights.
No, ma'am, in education sector.
Okay.
Basically, in competition sector, where they are also facing this. In the different categories, they have different where the other people are getting more reservation. Because of that, the general category is suffering. can we take no? Because just now today you said that better to keep the students away from these topics.
I did not say away. I'm just saying that it stirs up a hornet's nest, opens cans of worms unnecessarily. And the purpose of getting them to learn some life skills might get defeated. There are teachers who've told me that their children have taken based on, inspired by the movie Padman. They have done research, and this is a group of boys and girls. So they've done research on the lack of facilities, hygienic facilities or sanitary facilities available for women when they are menstruating. Okay, so it's not like they cannot take up topics like this, but this is political, so we just sort of keep away. But if you feel that the children are balanced and they can view it in a balanced manner, that their report is not going to bash the policy. The idea of analysis is to give a balanced view.
Yeah.
If they can manage to do that, yeah, by all means.
They have come up with the analyzing view, that what they examine, what they have come to know, that they have written, not any argumentative. Nowhere they are showing that they are against and why and question.
As long as it's not a bias and it is a balanced opinion that they are presenting based on data or research, it's perfectly fine.
And ma'am, if two students are doing, so in suppose they want to present it, so in presentation, can they individually reflect their own point of view?
The presentation, they can present it. Yes, tell them to do it as a panelist, so it becomes more performance centric. Yeah, they can. Why not? They can do anything as long as they give you mal to assess them while they are speaking.
Or maybe the couple may discuss over this topic to tell them what they wanted to convey in the end.
No. That they, anything. Make them do anything. Yeah.
Anything.
Don't pressurize them. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ruchi ma'am, we'll take 2 more questions, ma'am. Now it's the turn of Reena ma'am.
Yes. Reena, how beautiful. Okay.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Reena. Hello.
I'm so privileged to attend your session. I heard this from one of my colleagues. So, actually, I was a bit late as I was sick, but still, I think I'll try to get up to you through the WhatsApp or whatever, ma'am. But I have severe sciatica, that's why. Anyway, ma'am, I just wanted to know those driving questions. Should we ask the students to add those driving questions in the portfolio?
No.
For us?
That is for them to kickstart their thinking. If they think of a driving question, they will get their objective. Otherwise, what is the objective? If they,
yes. So that could be interpreted as an objective and written there as a goals and objectives.
Yes. It leads to an objective or a statement of purpose or goals.
Yes, ma'am. Just now, another ma'am had asked about book review. Even I had actually suggested that to my students. I had told even newspaper reports out as journalists and all that. But why not book review, ma'am? Like you just had a small glitch there.
No. You can do a book review. For example, you could even do, supposing someone says, I want to sort of check out Shah Rukh Khan's movies, or I want to check out Prabhu Deva. I mean, I want to research his career. Why has he moved from being a dancer to a director? Whatever. Even that is fine, but it would involve research. Book review for what purpose? Book review is a project. It's not PBL. What you're doing here is something that requires research. What is the research in book review? You tell them Anne Frank's diary, there are 100 book reports or book reviews available online. What has the child done?
So the student wouldn't be able to
investigation. Yeah, there has to be an investigation. How will they analyze in their essay or report otherwise? What will they write? Please remember that when you're doing a report, there has to be an abstract or introduction. There has to be the reason why this has been taken, and for example, if it's brand mania, so this is what we've observed. This is what is around us. That is why we are keen to find out more about this. Then they talk about their research method. Then they showcase their data or their findings or their summaries, whatever. Then they analyze it. Then they give their recommendations. Then they conclude. And then they mention how they have used it in their presentation. That's what is 800 to 1000 words.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. So book review may not suffice actually. It won't give such matter.
Book review will work provided you make it research worthy.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. So in that case, could I give more preference to role plays? Say, for example, I just suggest.
Forget the role play. Forget the role play. That is the last stage. That is presentation.
Oh.
Okay. What are they doing first? What are they doing? What is it that they want to find out or discover or look at or explore or discover? What is it that they want to do? Share. What is it that they want to investigate? Yeah.
What should be their goal-oriented?
Yes. Now you have it. Perfect.
That should be the first question, and then it could lead on to whatever they.
Yeah. Then they can do whatever they want. Yeah. They can present it in whichever way they want. I showed you so many, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Would I get all these into the WhatsApp, ma'am, number which you had?
Yeah.
Because I was under hospitalization actually. As I'm still under treatment.
I hope you're better.
Yes, ma'am, much better. Thank God's grace. It happened through, in between the holidays. So I think I'm much better now. L5 and S1, just a small scab. Pinched now. It's okay. Thank you so much. But I think I'll be attending all your sessions from now on. Happy New Year, ma'am, to all of you. Thank you.
Ma'am, can we take one final question?
Please take two. I don't mind. I am here, no? It's all right.
I can see a display picture with success discount.
Yes, ma'am, it's me, Virgin. Yes. Hi. Good evening, ma'am. Very good evening. This is Virgin. I have a doubt on how to bring in listening assessment in ALS project, ma'am. Actually, if, suppose my topic is a day in the life of my favorite teacher. And how could the students incorporate listening assessment for this topic?
When they collaborate with each other, there is no assessment. It is just a skill that they'll be using. If they are collaborating and talking to each other, and if they are able to correctly, relevantly answer questions of the examiner, that is listening enough.
Oh, okay, fine, ma'am.
And day in the life of?
My favorite teacher.
Yeah. So what is the research that they'll be doing?
They'll be doing research on any particular teacher they pick. Maybe they can have an interview session with the teacher.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. It would be nice if they have interviews with 3-4 teachers and then map the differences and the similarities in their days.
Oh, they can bring a survey then. Kind of a survey.
Perfect. Very nice.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
See, simple project, but there's a lot of work that can go into it. They will enjoy it also.
Yeah, ma'am. True.
Good. Very good. Yeah.
Next, Nisha, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Happy New Year. Good evening. Ma'am, I just want to know the sequence of that portfolio, like the first point where you had written, I missed that one. So I want to know exactly how it is to be told to the students to go ahead with the project and all. Second and third, like I just got to know, but first one I missed. The last you showed the presentation and all, but the first one I missed out.
Topic selection. But this thing is getting recorded, so I'm sure it's going to be up. Am I right?
She can watch it on the YouTube.
Yeah. It's
Okay. And one more question, ma'am. Can we just give any of the project on a movie?
You can give it on anything, but there has
Okay,
to be
like children were
be
asking to me, can they go ahead with the movie and all? Like they were interested in movies and all. So I did give them, but actually I was a little bit hesitant. So I thought I should be asking whether we can go ahead with it or not.
research worthy. There has to be research involved. Anything will go.
Right. Most of the students were interested in Spider-Man as it is nowadays.
But you
in the
ask them
theaters.
to create the driving question so that the
Yes,
purpose
yes.
of wanting to do is clear.
Actually, I was not aware about this driving question. Now I'll be just telling them all
For
about
example,
it.
why are they three different Spider-Man actors? Why couldn't
Right.
what is the difference between a Marvel one and the other one?
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. No, nice of you.
Ma'am, we have 4 people who have raised their hands. Can we go ahead, Ruchi, ma'am?
Yeah. I told you I'm right.
Okay, ma'am. Next, we have Hadrian. Mr. Hadrian.
Yeah, ma'am, good evening. This is
Hi.
Hadrian here. Hi, ma'am. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much, Adrian.
My name is a little awkward, like you're not an Indian name.
It's a gorgeous name. Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted, I was just attending your session because the co-teacher along with me just told me, sir, just join in for the project work for the grade 11th, where I just chipped in. And it was really like I had a lot of questions in my mind initially, all questions. And as the session went on, I think all those questions was getting eradicated, it's getting erased. And I think I'm very grateful to you and looking forward for such more sessions in the near future. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and a very happy new year to you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Same to you, Adrian. Wow.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Next, we have someone like BS. It's written BS there.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Hello.
Sharma.
Hello.
Hi, ma'am. Happy New Year to you and all. Ma'am, I have a question regarding the role play, which you told already, but I need more clarity on that.
Yeah.
If they choose role play on any chapter prescribed in their syllabus, suppose Red Trap, what kind of research will they do?
What is the question for the project? What are they investigating?
When we selected before, I knew about these driving questions. They chose that we would role play this drama. That's it.
But that is nothing, no? That is just an activity that they're doing. Where is the research and where is the project and where is the analysis?
So that's what, ma'am, I want to know.
So role play is the final, it's the last product.
Okay.
So what are they doing on Rat Trap? Like they want to do what? What on Rat Trap? What do they want to find out?
They just wanted to enact it.
Yeah, but then that doesn't make any sense. No, that is not a project at all. I and my group members would like to do what? Find out something they have to investigate, no? So what is the theme? See, that's why I said it should not become a post-lesson activity. Performing a role play on a character or dramatizing the story is not a project. It's an art-based activity. That's all.
Okay, ma'am.
So they have to come up with something else.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm sure you heard quite a few people here. They've come up with lovely things. Something as simple as a movie, or what was the last thing which I said? It's so simple, but it's fabulous. Something. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, one more query.
I'm so sorry to disappoint, but it has to be done right.
Exactly, ma'am. We want to do it in a better way.
Okay.
And ma'am, one more question is, this attendance form is, ma'am, open for how long?
Shalini?
We will tell you. We'll tell you after this, ma'am. We'll take two more questions.
Ma'am, the question is, I was unable to pay the fee. So can you please guide about that?
We'll do that at the end, ma'am, after this
After this, so okay, so this form is available now.
You can save the link. You can copy paste the link, and you do it later.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
The final two questions, like Tina ma'am. Tina ma'am is here.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Good evening, ma'am. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, ma'am, I just want to know how this Viva questions. Supposing I'm giving a question like do a comparative study between the character of Thappad, the movie, and Aunt Jennifer. I'm just giving. So how would the Viva questions, the person, if the external examiner is coming, how would they place the questions? I'm just wondering.
They are doing a comparative study between Aunt Jennifer and Tapsi in Thappad. That's what you're saying.
I just hypothetical thing.
No. Yeah. It's a good one. So what you're trying to say is the project is basically about the condition of women across countries and across centuries. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, how they react to the situations.
Yes. So you cannot say Thappad and you cannot say Aunt Jennifer. You simply have to say based on your study of the textbooks. So because condition of women is also there in Should Wizard. Condition of women is also. So leave it to textbook and media.
Or they select the character from Doll's House or anything.
They'll select, yes, anything, and they will choose to you could say from mass media, you could say. So by the way they are represented in ads, in movies, whatever it is, objectification, whatever. Yes. So now what will the examiner ask? The examiner is going to look at the whole report. The examiner is going to see what their research has been, which are the ads or movies or books that they have consulted to create their analysis, and what are their reflections, what is their team work. Then the examiner is probably going to ask and say, what topic is going to have a time answer. So if the child chosen knows the reason why the child has chosen to do on reservation, now there has to be some reason why they are doing it. So they'll be able to answer. Another kind of question could be portfolio.
Portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Asha, ma'am, next.
Hello, Asha.
Okay. Poonam, ma'am, can you please unmute? Poonam, final question. Poonam, ma'am. Next, Raj Kumari, ma'am. She's just raised her hands now. The final question.
Unmute and ask. No, you might be. Yeah, Poonam, yes.
Hello. Good evening, ma'am.
Hi.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, we can use themes of the lesson as ma'am was saying that she has taken rat trap and she was not able to use it as a project. We can take themes of the lesson also to represent the project.
Yes, provided there is a investigative aspect to it. What will you do with the theme? What is the theme of rat trap?
So we, in the rat trap, we say that metaphor of rat trap serve to highlight human predicaments. We can take any human, we can talk about the poor people who are suffering in their life. We can talk about it also. We can take it as the topic.
And what will they research on it?
We can research, we can present the plight of the poor people. We can use data and statistics.
From where?
A bit of, especially of the poor people. And then.
So are you talking about poverty?
Yeah, of course.
So what does the child want to know? Whether the poor give in to temptation more easily than the rich?
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I wonder what they will use as proof of their research. This data you will never get on Google. This will have to come through survey. So are you telling me they will survey poor people and rich people?
I means they can observe the plight of the people.
No,
especially the poor
observation is abstract. This is
Okay.
research based. There has to be some concrete proof of their investigation. That is why I was saying, keep your topics very simple. See the topics CBSE has given.
Okay. Okay.
Khana,
Fine.
Pina, Sona, Khelna, Kudna, whatever you want to call it. They're very simple day-to-day things that they are doing.
Okay.
You could
Okay.
even- a topic as simple as why is it important to wear contact lenses? Why can't teenagers wear spectacles?
Okay.
You understand what I'm
ma'am.
saying? So then
Yes,
you have
yes.
body image, and then you have, whatever, and deleted chapters like going places, etc. That's a good takeoff point for
Adolescent.
yeah, picking up a theme.
Yes. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I think we've come to the end
Good
of
evening,
this
ma'am.
session.
Good evening,
Oh,
ma'am.
there's someone
Yes,
was- who is that?
Hello.
Yeah,
Good
please,
evening, ma'am.
please.
This is Rajkumari Murugan.
Yes.
I think I raised my hand for this question.
Yes.
So, ma'am, is it compulsory to have a group project, or is it possible to have a individual? Because as it's a pandemic, we don't know the situation, how it's going to be. So, is it?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Let me answer. So, Rajkumari, I can see 173 people here today, right now. So, is it a group project or is it an individual project? So,
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Some students take this as a chance to go and mingle with their friends. That's the thing we are avoiding. We tend to avoid these things. So that's why.
You make it very clear in your instructions. All collaboration is online. Simple.
Yeah, but we can take it as a pair also. Is it not compulsory?
You can take it as a pair. You can take it as a group, and if you feel that it is getting difficult for you as a teacher to get them to listen to you, you can tell them to do it individually. However, the across very clearly in an individual project, and you are going to have a very tough time checking so many.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
The examiner is going to have a tough time reading so many reports.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. This session is very useful for us. Everything you have cleared, how to do this ALS, especially for 12th standard. Okay, ma'am. It's completely different from 10th.
Yes.
So I handle both. So I am sure that that should be a mark between for the 10th and this one for 12th. I think it's a research product.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Wish you a happy new year, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. With that, we come to the end of the question hour, and hats off to your patience, ma'am. I'm sure our educators have got answers to all their queries, most of their queries. There were several takeaways from this session, and I'm sure these inputs will help our educators to guide their students better. Attendance and feedback form is already posted in the chat box. Please do fill it before leaving the session.
Thank you, Shalini. I couldn't have thought of any better way than to spend it with such experienced academics. The pleasure has been entirely mine. Thank you very much, all of you.
Gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our part, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. So let me conclude today's session by expressing my deep sense of gratitude to everyone present. I fall short of words as I express gratitude to our illustrious resource person for a brilliant interactive session. On behalf of Bharat Sahodaya fraternity and on my own behalf, I would like to express gratitude and appreciation to Ms. Ruchi Sengar, ma'am. We're looking forward to your next session, ma'am. Thank you so much. A big thank you to the amazing leader, Dr. Abdul Salam sir, for being there to meet the needs of the educators. Thank you so much, sir. Deep sense of appreciation to the wonderful IT and technical department, Mr. Arun Mohan sir and Mr. Arafat sir. Thank you, both of you. And now to the participants, to the educators. I can't thank you enough for your involvement, participation, and willingness to accept changes and come out of your comfort zone for making teaching learning experience truly joyful. Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you all in the next webinar with another interesting topic, with another eminent resource person. And I would like to now request Salam sir to wind up the session.
Thank you, Shalini ma'am. Thank you, Ruchi ma'am. I would, appreciate your perseverance. Lots of questions, and you have answered all the questions, and but still, definitely, when they are in the process, when they start implementing, there will be, questions and all. So, participants, you can be in touch with ma'am. She has given you her email ID and WhatsApp number, and also you can put up your questions in our groups. We will be, be in touch with Ruchi ma'am. Well, if you would like to go for an intensive, a deep learning, definitely we can help you. You can also contact Ruchi ma'am through her WhatsApp number. This is not suffice. This is not enough. We have to have a thorough knowledge, further knowledge about the project you are going to embark upon or you have already started. Well, Ruchi ma'am, we are much grateful to you for spending more than 2 hours with us, helping all the English teachers. We have been looking forward to this session, and we are much helped by your enlightenment. Thank you so much. We'll connect again with maybe another topic or a second part of this topic as as the requirement, whatever the requirement is. We will see to that. And thank you so much, Shalini ma'am, for the graceful rendering, your dedication and your time also we spent for the English teaching community. And thank you all the participants. So let's wind up today. Thank you, Arun Mohan sir, and each and everyone. Have a good night and Happy New Year once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ruchi ma'am, once again. Bye.